Here's the thing. Do you think greed is good or greed is bad? Come on, shout it out because I can't see you guys. Amazing. Because I think greed is amazing. Most people do not talk about it. And especially in the Indian context with our structure and family, this thing, we believe greed is only for the rich or who have already got richer from beyond, especially with political connections, right? But greed is the only motivator that gets us from here to where we want to. And greed does not need to be bad. Greed is what is driving us towards the outcomes that we want to do, right? So the fact that greed gets us money, greed gets us things to buy, greed even gets us whatever we want, right? Greed gets you to buy bitcoins at the point, right? Trust me, no one did financial analysis when they bought bitcoins at the core of it. The whole thing is that, I was here where you guys are 20 years back, and I was talking to some of you guys before, and I can hear one thing very clearly. You're all worried about getting a job, right? And can I make that money? Can I be richer, not the richest to another college or another student, richer to my friend, right? That's what matters eventually, right? It does not matter what somebody else somewhere is making. What it matters is what my friends were making in college to what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I think we have to move from there, right? So don't worry, most of us have gone through this. There was no placement cell when I was there. I'm even shocked that colleges have placement cell. And if you don't get an internship, which is what's happening now, it's okay. You will figure the path and the method to it. Now the question is, what is money and why is it important, right? I think it's very clear that money brings choice and choice brings freedom, right? That's what all of us are for. How many of you guys want freedom from doing whatever you guys want to do? No one wants freedom? Okay, doesn't matter. The fact that we all want to do this in a worry-free manner is what is essential, right? The fact that we do not want to worry about where the money will come, but this doesn't happen overnight. The fact that you have to be extremely patient and it takes long amount of time to get there. Now, ask anybody, even your parents, your professors, anybody that you think the most successful uncle or a cousin of yours. Money doesn't happen to all instantly, except the phase that you saw during COVID. For some that came in Bitcoin, it went down, it's back again, it doesn't matter. The question is, money takes time and it takes patience. But eventually, everybody gets there. And we're fairly fortunate, all of us, right? We have an education that worst case, we can fall back on it, essentially. Right? Now, where does this whole thing start, right? As kids, and I'm sure all of you all wanted to do dibs on taking the front seat. It was about getting that candy. And, nothing changes in lifetime. As we get older, it's all about, who can drink the most, who can get the maximum number of opposite sex partners or the same sex partners to like them, or who gets the highest salary, right? Right? As you grow and you have family and your kids, this becomes all about, do you have the best car? Do you have the best house? And it's same. Ask any 30 to 40-year-old. It's about the latest holiday. Hey, I went to Norway last month. And that's the status game that most people play. By the time you get to your 50s, right, this is all about exclusive club. Hey, I have this collection of wine or a whiskey that I have. Or it's about this exclusive club that I have a membership to. From there, it basically gets into retirement, right? I have more money than you. Oh, my children are more successful. Or it's even better that it gets to a point that you play this health games, right? Right, essentially. So, some of the 70 people, and, you'll see this in your grandparents. Hey, I have 3 heart stints. You only have 2, right? And that's some of those conversations happen. I've seen it happen live. Trust me, it happens to most. So, essentially, these things happen. And there are these myths that we, over time, collect and bring together, essentially. One myth is that money grows on trees, right? And I truly wish that was the case, but it doesn't happen. It's pure hard work, and it takes a lot of effort. The second is around that the fact that you don't need an emergency fund. How many of you guys know what an emergency fund is? Come on, guys, say yes or no. Shout it out. Okay, so emergency fund is something basically that is for your rainy days and you need it and you cannot use your credit card against it, right? Again, investing most people think is gambling. I can tell you most adults play video games. I call them adult video games. This is not what you're thinking it is. It's basically a screen that people think they can make money from. And very rarely people do create that wealth, essentially. The fact that you can spend now, earn points, and rich ever after, I can guarantee you lots of your, alumni want to get that airport lounge access through that credit card. The worst thing you can think about, right? Stay away from credit cards is my number one advice to y'all. If y'all, this thing, and the longer you stay away, the better it is. Right? I think your grandparents might have been stashing money. I think everyone knows what happened in 2016 during demonetization for some of that money, right? Fact that you spend today and live forever, the question is, do you live once? I think you only die once, right? So the real answer is not YOLO, it's YODO, and not the same YODO that you think about. Just truly think, you have only one lifetime to live. It's okay. It's okay if you don't make the money. It'll happen over time. Just have the patience to it to get there, right? Track every penny. I think that's another stupidity that most people do. You need to know where you're spending, and eventually you'll get there. And most of us have figured this, right? I just want you to look around, right? Just look left, look right, if you can. I can't see you guys, but I'm sure you are. And this is the same bunch of people that you're going to be competing with. When it comes to placement day, you will forget your friends. You will forget everybody else. And that's the reality. It's happened to everybody. But the fact that 10 years, 15 years later, these are the same people that you will reach out when you're in trouble. And I can guarantee you, what is cool in college is that, do I have the, the coolest shoes or other things? What matters after you start making money is that, do you know a guy who knows how to fix your tax and make your money, manage your money, right? Essentially, it happens to most, right? So the whole logic is that, what are the means or methods that, gets you to save money? And in my view, there are three things if you do, you'll be extremely successful. One is figure out how to, learn about about saving. What are the things that you can do? What are the hacks that you can do to save, essentially? One simple hack, and I would recommend anybody who's getting their salary for the first time, divide your salary account and your expense account, right? Always ensure that you're investing first and then spending from the rest of the money that is there. Most people try to do the reverse, right? Well, they'll spend the money and whatever is left, you'll invest. The whole idea is pay yourself first, which technically means invest for your future, essentially, right? Also, never check out. I think how many of y'all today check out instantly on Prime, right? Essentially, or whatever, Flipkart, whatever you guys use. One rule is simple: do not check out for anything that's expensive instantly. Keep it on the cart, and you'll realize that you might not even really need it. And this thing is, the system is designed for making you spend, essentially. Do you want to fall a trap for it? That's fine. But a day break is always good. Always your large expenses, now for you guys might be a laptop, for some of us it might have been a car. It's important to delay it. And my one rule is, don't play the status game. Now you're playing the status game in the way you wear shoes, the way you talk about it. Try avoiding them. There's nothing wrong to spend for things. If you've saved for them, that's the most important thing. Second pillar, and I think this is perhaps the most important one, is to understand investment and investment products. Unfortunately, it's not taught in colleges. It's not taught in our school. Unfortunately, it's not even most 40-year-olds don't even know how to file their taxes because their parents do it for them, right? And this is one thing that you want to learn, because this will differentiate your wealth versus everything else. Honestly, it does not matter what you study. It only matters what you're able to save and what you're actually able to invest in the same. Understand this concept of risk and reward. All of us want no risk and high reward, but the fact that there is nothing like that. If you want reward, you have to go for risk. The question is, what kind of risk do you want to go for? And I'll just share what, according to me, is the right process. Think about investing in FDs, RDs while you're in college, whatever. You can save $100, 500 rupees, whatever it is. Get started with this. Don't get into the stock market first, purely because you want to first get into the habit of saving. The second part is that you want to see how money grows by itself, right? If you actually see it, in $1,000, couple of lakhs will not going to make you a lot of money in the stock market either. So first, learn to build capital. Capital needs capital to grow. So you need to build the capital for it to grow from there, right? Consider building an emergency account. Think about insurance, especially post-COVID. Most people have forgotten COVID ever existed. It can come back again, another health emergency. At least talk to your parents, your grandparents about their insurance policy. I have had too many cases where young people had to have figured this out instantly, especially during the lockdown, always get to know your parents' insurance cover and even understand about your health or life insurance and understand tax saving before you get a job. There is no point to make money if you don't know how to save tax legally, obviously, around the same. Then learn about mutual fund, and then it comes stocks. But after all of this, if you have the time, your bandwidth, money left, do whatever you want with your money. I'm not the one to tell you. But comes after. The third, the most important thing is, which again is not taught, is that you have to find ways to increase your income. Your only responsibility to yourself if you've taken a job is to say, I need to know how to negotiate my salary. No one teaches negotiation in college. It is the number one subject that you need to learn. Because think about it, even if you change your job every 3 years or 4 years, over a 40-year career, you will do about 12 to 13 jobs. I've already done 14. And I've grown my wealth. In 20 years, I've done 14 jobs, and I can't care less if somebody reminds me of it. Especially HR loves to do this as a context. But ensure that you know how to negotiate your salary. Now, one part of that, but one of the most important thing is to learning how to do sales. Sales is the only aspect that you don't need to do sales, essentially. But you need to be confident about tomorrow if some problem statement is given to you, you can go sell it or have the means to get somebody else to sell it. Sales is number one part, which engineering students hate, but understand this, if you can't sell something, no one cares about it on the other side if you can build a product at the same side. People talk about work politics, right? All of us have seen it. It's real. You know, you have politics in school or college. Why would there not be politics at work? It happens in every domain. Understand it's human behavior to have this. So learn from there. Think always that how you can add value. At workplace, it does not matter. Here, you guys can mess around, do whatever fun. At work, if you don't add value, you don't exist. And especially in the new AI world, you have to constantly think on what value you can add at workplace. I really pity all students now because you're really in a hard spot in the next few years. So think about how you will add value and start doing work today. Don't wait for the day you graduate, hoping someday somebody will teach you. It does not happen. Build long-term relationships and networks. Trust me, your network happens in college. These college networks are the only things that survive. No one cares about you in the real world outside, and I'm being frank, but your college friends will stick, even the ones that didn't like you. You know, the funny part is there are ways that people you hate become your closest friends over time, and you can ask any 45-year-old or 40-year-old, they will say, we were never great friends, but now we're best of friends, right? And it happens to most of us. The interesting part now is that the fact that, we are all cavemen, right? We came from that, and we have suddenly, for whatever reason, moved from cavemen to agriculturists, from agriculturists to industrial, and now we're moving to the services layer. But we still behave like cavemen, right? As if we don't have any resources, right? The fact that, I don't have a job, or I will be left without food. None of us have a problem of food, shelter, or any challenges that might come, right? Even if there's a calamity, we will be taken care in society. That's the truth of it. Now the question is, do we still behave the way we were behaving in the past for fighting for candy, for fighting for small things? It's important to build a higher order of thinking. Wealth is important. I'm not suggesting that everything is about money, but it's important to think about how you can benefit yourself. Then you will have the ability to benefit others, right? And think about it. Life is genuinely Hakuna. Eventually, there'll be 3 to 5 friends that you can walk on a branch somewhere or go out for a dinner eventually. So keep your friends close. Life is not so hard. It's all about having fun. And please enjoy this period. Go do whatever craziest thing that you can and in college, because after that, it really gets real very, very fast. You do get to have fun, but it's not the same. Find your friends, find your Hakuna Matatas, but go do whatever it takes. And I wish you guys, you build all the wealth that you can, but please go make the money that you need to. Cheers.